Hello and welcome to my video. This is the very basics of surrogacy. Sorry if it's not perfect, I'm not great at this. I will probably have to edit this a little bit because I keep forgetting to say things. So this is a video that if you are being a surrogate and lots of people are asking you questions, you can send them this video, or if you're just looking into surrogacy or want to learn a little bit more about it, then this may be of some help to you. If you have any questions, please do comment below, but also if you don't want to be seen as commenting in a public domain, in the information bar at the base of this video underneath the title you can click down and there will be links to other videos that will be of you, possibly be of use to you, that I will mention in the video, and also means of getting hold of me on other social media platforms that can be completely private so no one know you've asked me any questions. I will get back to everyone as soon as I can. I always try to reply to every comment and inbox I get unless you are being perverted, in which case I'll probably ignore you. Just a heads up. Now, the very basic question to surrogacy is, what is surrogacy? Now, surrogacy is where a woman grows and delivers a baby for other people or another person. That's it. That's the most fundamental level of surrogacy. There are two main types of surrogacy. The first is traditional surrogacy or straight surrogacy, generally shortened to TS. This is where the surrogate herself uses her own egg, carries the pregnancy, delivers for the other people or person that she is delivering for. So yes, she is genetically related to the baby, but no, traditional surrogates do not view themselves as the mother in any way, just no. I myself was a traditional surrogate previously and delivered a rather perfect looking baby boy in September 2013, but I have never viewed him as mine in any way, as he is not my child. He is genetically related to me, but it just, to me, it just doesn't make any difference. It's very hard to explain, and I have done in previous videos, so if you want to learn a little bit more about that, feel free to look through my surrogacy information videos and hopefully you'll come across something that will help, rather than going over the same thing and making this video ridiculously long. The next type of surrogacy is gestational surrogacy, also known as host surrogacy, but generally shortened to GS. Now, this is where the surrogate is not related to the baby in any way. You will go through IVF to have an embryo transferred into your uterus in the hopes that it implants and you grow a pregnancy. Now, the parents-to-be are known as intended parents or IPs. You can be an IM, an intended mother, or an IF, intended father. Now, as I was saying, some countries will allow single people to pursue surrogacy and other countries will only allow a couple to pursue surrogacy. In England, you don't have to be married, but you do have to be in an enduring relationship. You can be straight or gay, that's irrelevant, but you do have to be two people in a couple, and a secure couple at that, to pursue surrogacy. In America, you can be a single male, a single female, a gay couple, or a straight couple, pretty much any state, I believe, in order to pursue surrogacy. However, it does change state to state, so you really do need to look into that for wherever you are living. Now, the process to becoming a surrogate is very, very different, and yet the same, depending on where you are. Now, generally, a woman will decide she wants to be a surrogate, and the best thing I can say to you is research your booty off. Google is your friend in this case. You really want to read up, because the laws and the rules change in every state in America. There's so many differences. In England, Australia, China, to Thailand, to Canada, everyone has different rules. Some countries it is illegal, some countries it is legal, some countries you can get paid, some you cannot. You really need to know what is and is not an option where you are. There are different kinds of surrogacy in the sense that you can do independent surrogacy, which is where you go off your own back. Now, you can do this in America, but you'll still need lawyers, still need an escrow account and all that jazz. You do need to be a little bit careful there. Or you can go with an agency who will help, but there are quite big fees. Now, in America, an agency is quite a good idea because it's a very legally sort of complex thing to go through. IPs don't want to get stuck, and surrogates do not want to be left with the medical bills, because insurance very, very infrequently covers surrogate pregnancies. In England, you don't really need an agency, and I have got nothing good to say about any of them, to be honest. It's just a way to spend out a lot of money and get very little in return. Independent surrogacy is absolutely fantastic, but you do really want to be in the secret Facebook groups, which sounds creepy, but I promise you it's actually not. So if you want any information about those, do send me a message and I will help you where I can. There is also a group I will put a link into at the bottom, which is called UK Surrogacy, the Foyer. So if you're in the UK and you want to learn more about it, that is is a good group to join as a gateway group for other groups. So you would generally join an agency if you want to, or you go independent, and you will find IPs. Now, there are places like Surrogate Mums Online or Surrogate Finder. They're a little bit risky. If you're doing independent surrogacy, I genuinely think Facebook groups are the way to go. Even though that sounds crazy, it's actually quite a good idea. If you're with an agency, you will be matched via an agency, which is a very, very handy tool to have, especially in America. Now, if you are American, you want to ask if the agency issues a 1099 or not, because this will change whether your compensation is a payment that you get to receive tax-free or if you're going to be taxed on it. So you want to be a little bit careful. I'm not really sure how this all works, but it's definitely a question you want to ask if you're looking to join an agency in America, because you don't really want to pay out a chunk of your compensation onto tax. Or I wouldn't. I'm a bit selfish like that. But then I don't get compensation. I get, you know, expenses, which is... I was also asked about drugs and protocols for gestational surrogacy. Now, this is not really something I can answer, I'm afraid, my dear, because it changes massively clinic to clinic and situation to situation. Now, there is a massive amount of drugs that you can be placed on, and there are the options of doing a unmedicated cycle, which I personally prefer. Now, the most common medications you will go on in doing something like an FET will be a hormone replacement therapy or estrogen and progesterone. And now you will do these from before transfer until 12 weeks of pregnancy. You generally will get given a pill which you take 1 to 4 times a day for your estrogen, which is something like Proginova or Estrofem, and there's probably other names as well, but I'm not really up onto them, but they're all estrogen. Progesterone is done in suppositories in some cases. You can also take orally, or you can do an injection daily, which is progesterone in oil. Now, the thing with progesterone is you will generally start that 5 days before a 5-day transfer or 3 days before a 3-day transfer. And again, it will last until 12 weeks. The HRT pretty much starts at the beginning of your cycle or after you come off birth control pills. It depends if you're down-regulating or not. If you down-regulate, there's a few other ways you can do this as well. You can take a one-off injection at the beginning of your cycle. You can take buserelin or Ciprocure, and you can do those nasally 3 times a day, or you can do a daily injection, and that will shut down your ovaries and basically put you into a kind of menopause. And this is when you will then start taking your HRT to make sure your estrogen levels are higher, and again the progesterone. You can also be on various other drugs that I don't know about, so apologies for that. Other things you can be put on is like prednisone, which is a immunosuppressant. This will suppress your immune system for those that have a high immune response. You can also have intralipids, which is a IV thing, but that's generally only done for people doing IVF for themselves, and not necessarily surrogates, because we don't generally have immune issues. Prednisone, or whatever it's called, sorry if I've got that name wrong, is generally a precaution that you take for about 5 to 10 days. You can also go on blood thinners such as Selexane, which will be a daily injection. Some people have to do that up to 12 weeks. Some people have to do it various weeks after they've given birth, surrogate or otherwise. Unfortunately, you may be stabbing yourself a lot. The other option is baby aspirin, which has got another name that has totally left my brain. So again, when it comes to drugs, I'm not really able to tell you masses about it, because it varies so greatly to each protocol, each clinic, and each person, and in some cases each pregnancy. So sorry about the misinformation on that one, but if you have any questions, I will endeavour to answer them as well as I can. So again, please do comment below and I will get back to you as best I can, or I will send you a link or to another person who may have a better knowledge than I do. There is cat hair floating. Ooh. So that's basically it when it comes to surrogacy. I think I do apologise if I've missed anything out. This is a little choppy and changey because it's been an awful lot harder to film than I had given myself credit for, because you're trying to put everything out there, the bare information, without talking for too long, which is clearly something I'm not very good at doing. And yeah, getting the facts across. So apologies if it's not fantastic, but please do comment or question and I will get back to you. Again, I can only apologise for my molten amount of crazy that comes out in most videos, but this is just me. I'm going to get off and edit this catastrophe together, and I hope some of you find it of some use. And apologies to anyone I've offended with my immense stupidity. All right, take care, people. Bye.